Hello. So there's a couple of things that I'm experiencing right now, and I would like to talk about them. It feels like a really good topic to make a video, so here we are. Um, I'm on my break right now. Today is Friday. I've been working Monday and Wednesday, and today part time. Um, it's I'm basically replacing someone. Someone went to what's the word to vacation, and I'm filling in for someone I don't even know who. And it's a job that I've done years ago with my father. Um, it's been a while since I've done it. I've done it this week, but before that's like so many years ago. Um, Basically, just stacking shelves in the store. Um, Drinks, beer. Work for beer company. Um, and It's not like when if you go to the store, you have people who work at the store, the people with vests and and in white and red or whatever clothing. And then you might see some random people who just might who have casual clothes and have gloves on or something, and have a trolley and some stuff stacked, and then they stack either food or drinks or whatever. Well, I'm that guy, for these 2 weeks. um you're just a regular guy who stacks certain things. You're not part of that store. You're just kind of like an outsider. um and you stack stuff. Yeah. um it's not a hard work for me. It doesn't even feel like work, because you just like, I go to the store and I just sort of like have fun, basically. So it's not that hard for me to do this. But then at the same time, I don't really care. It's it's quite meaningless to me, just like all of the jobs are. Um, yeah, so that's the first part. So yeah, now I'm on my break. It's like 11 a.m. I got up in morning at like what before 6 a.m. and I don't think that I slept that much. I have also a problem. I'm a night owl, and if I have to go somewhere in the morning, like at 6 a.m. or something, if I have to go somewhere, chances are that I won't even sleep at all. Because usually when I go to sleep, it's like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something, or 6 a.m., 3 a.m. Um, I never go sleep before midnight. So if I have to go somewhere, at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., and I go to sleep at like 2 a.m., lay in bed, chances are I won't fall asleep, and I just basically then stay up for a whole day and go to sleep the next day at night at like 2 a.m. So literally like 24-hour awake. I'm used to it. um, then I get sleep deprived, which is not that fun now as I'm older. Not that fun anymore. But I can manage. I My life has always been intense. There's a lot of stuff that I've dealt with, and having intense experiences make you really, really, really strong. Which is really good. Which means that you can withstand a lot of pressures in whatever way. Which is really good. Really good to be strong. You have to be strong. Um, so I can stand. I'm a weird guy, but I have my way of functioning, and I can function. It works for me. So yeah, if I don't sleep, for a whole day or 2 days, I haven't tried 2 days. I don't care. That's how I function, and I function. I'm alive, so it works. Not a normal way. Most people couldn't do it or something. I somehow can. That's how it is. It's hot. I have. Let's just do this. What do we have? I have my coffee here. This coffee over here. This is Irish coffee, by the way. I enjoy Irish coffee. I like Irish coffee from ATM, or how do I say? Coffee breaks are good. Gives me energy, and I can just sit a little bit. Um, yeah, from these vending machines, ATMs, whatever. I like to take Irish coffee. It's my favorite. But if I go on a regular coffee in like a bar, I take coffee with milk and whipped cream, cool whipped cream on top, and then I do this thing. I have cream, whipped cream on top, and I put sugar on top, and then I eat that. And then I put sugar in coffee. I like sugar. I'm a sugar guy. Although I like bitter coffee sometimes as well. I sort of don't care. But I prefer sugar. I really do. Um, um, and yeah, and in these vending machines, in this one, for instance, this one, there you can set the how much you want the sweetness. It's from 1 to 6 or something. I don't know. And you have like bars. Maybe it's almost 9 or something. And I always put uh, different of these. Mostly it's like half, but sometimes I put it all the way through. Till the end, all 9 bars or however it is, and I enjoy it. It's not too sweet for me. My father like tried it a few times, but he was like, "It's too sweet, can't handle it." Not for me. I can handle sweet things. I can tolerate them. So usually, things that are too sweet for people aren't too sweet for me. But then, if I say that it's too sweet, then it's too sweet. But sometimes, it's too sweet for me, but not for them. So it's that. Okay. So to the topic of this video, 7 minutes in. What I want to say is be useful and be resourceful human. Whatever struggles that you might have, as bad line, as I do, with all those not wanting to live problems. It's really good if you're a useful human being and if you're a resourceful human being. What I mean by that, there's many things. It's good if you have a lot of experience in various areas, and then you can do a lot of things. Ooh, the bells. And like for instance, for me, I know how to drive a car, and I went to do driver's license 10 years ago because I knew that throughout my whole life, there's going to be millions of ways when I'm going to be needing driver's license, when I have to drive a car, and that's why I did it. And I had my problems with driving the car, that I don't enjoy driving it, and I don't know how to be alone, how to find myself, orient myself, in the road. I had my problems with that throughout the years, but now not that much anymore. So, like, for instance, right now it's a situation where I have to drive myself, to the second store that I have to refill shelves, because my father, he had to go somewhere else, so I have to get myself there, and it's up to me. And since I know how to drive a car, since I have experience with being alone and finding my way, even when I don't know how to find my way, I have a lot of experience with that, so I know how to do these things. So, like, let's say if you have a driver's license or whatever, other types of experiences, doesn't matter what kind of scenario happens to you, you can manage. Like for me, I didn't know right now that I was going to have to drive myself to that other store. But since I'm adaptive and I'm resourceful and I'm useful to a certain extent, I could have been more useful for sure. I was like, okay, sure, no problem. and now I'm here doing this video. Was not even planned. um and I'm talking about this, and I'm going to drive myself there eventually. I also have lunch here. I've made myself some iced tea and sandwiches, and I have my coffee. And yeah, it's going to be that. So you see, that's how it is. Also, I don't plan my days. Mostly I don't plan my days. My days just happen, and whatever happens, and I just, spontaneous days. That's how it is with me. um yeah, okay, so there's like many more scenarios that I could have, but I want what I want you to take from this video is be useful and be resourceful. Okay, don't be when there's problems. Don't be someone who causes more problems, who drags people down. You be someone who uplifts them if you can. If you're not struggling too much with whatever it is that you have, or be silent. Also that's also sometimes better to not say anything than to say stupid things. um be resourceful. Try to handle situations well. Think with your head. Okay, be like, even if you have certain work that you don't care about, like me, like for this thing, I have to restock certain things, and then like some people give me instructions and they aren't clear enough, and I don't know what to do. So I figure it out myself. I think it through with my own head, and then I yeah, I do it. Just think through, show other people that you're smart, that you're thinking with your own head. Like, the job that you do, that you know how to do, that you think about the job. Show that. I don't think I said this the best, but show that you're smart. um or let's say, like, you see that there's something's missing, and then you put it there. Like for instance, me, there's these shelves. I can see what is missing, and then I can just automatically, I can put it there myself. No one says to me, do that. I can see it. I have self initiative, and then I put that, restock the shelf, whatever the hell. I can do that by myself. Now, I don't care about the store and all that shit. This game that is playing here, I don't care about it. I'm neutral about it. But I can still show that I care. And I can restock these things. I can think with my own head, and people might think good of me. And even like, people here, that are, regular customers, which a lot of them, um, eh, just they don't know stuff, and then they ask you, and I'm kind to them. Um, and I help them. I know how, certain things are, where they're put in store, so I help them. Even though I don't work here, I know the store. I've been here many times, and I just help them. I point them in the right direction, and if I can't help them, I say, I can't help you. Go talk to someone else. But usually I can help. On Wednesday and today, but more on Wednesday, I had like 5 people who approached me with the drinks. I helped those people, and you see, that's how it goes. And I managed. Things. Yeah, I managed. So what I want you to. Okay, now I'm in a bit more calmer energy, so sort of lost the track. But what I want for everyone who's watching this video, what I want you to get from this video is to be useful. Okay, be a useful human being, be a resourceful human being. And if you are, like, in a dysfunctional family, and you have, like, I don't know, financial problems or whatever, just like I do something about that. Do something to solve the problems that you have. Don't do nothing. Okay, try to not do nothing. And what I've realized is that with jobs, as I've said before, all jobs in my town, in and around, they all suck. Through my eyes, they all suck. And I honestly, don't want to do any of them, because I don't care. But the situation is, that I need money. The money is needed in our house, which means I have to do something, because a man is a provider. A man provides. you have to do it. Gus Fring says the man provides. Breaking Bad. Um, the man provides. Man is a provider, which means that even if you don't know what to do or something, you have to find your way, even when you don't know what to do with certain things. Um, it depends also what the situation is. Uh, a man is a provider, and you have to do something to provide, even if you don't want to. You know, you have, there's also a quote by Brian Tracy: "Successful people do what they have to do, whether they feel like it or not." Now, this, job stuff, that might not be, a successful thing, success story, but on your way to success, at some point, to becoming a millionaire or whatever, there's a lot of things you're going to have to do, and you will not want to do them, but you got to do them, because it will happen. That's life. Eventually you're going to have to do things that you don't want to, so that you can get to where you want to. And like for me, what I've realized with jobs is that all jobs suck here where I'm at, and they will never be good. So what I have to do is, I just have to do something of that and put up with it. And that's it. Not for forever, of course not, for a certain amount of months. That's what I have to do, endurance. You have to put up with stuff. You have to put up with certain shit. Sometimes, this shit is for a very, very long time. But you have to do it. With life, there is a lot of endurance as well. You just have to, there's, certain pains, certain bullshit that you have to put up with the world, with the people around, with pains that you have within. There's just endurance. You just have to put up with them. And that, all those bullshits and pains might not go away quickly, and you just have to put up with them. Seeing it like endurance, strength of endurance, strength of will, you're strong-minded, strong will. There's a lot of good stuff that I've said here. Jobs. What I realized is that they all suck, and I just have to do one of them, because at the moment I need money, and money is needed in our house. So I just have to literally suck it up. But then at the same time, working, what I've done here these days, it's really not that bad. It's no devil, nothing horrible, nothing about that. It's sort of like, how do I even say it? That's one. View work as play. Work as play. Alan Watts says this. So many other spiritual teachers. Work as work as play. Don't go to work all serious and work seriously, and you're like, we have to do this. We have to do this. Stress, time. I don't have time. Blah 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 blah. I want to go home. I'm tired. Just view it as play, like you're playing in a kindergarten or something. And it's nothing serious, and it doesn't even matter at all. So just have this more loose view about jobs. It's going to be much easier for you, and you can do bullshit jobs, whatever it is, but you can do them with a loose attitude, and with a positive attitude, and with a smile on your face. You can do that, even though it's meaningless. You can still give that atmosphere like it matters, even though it doesn't matter. I don't mean pretend, not really, just orchestrate it somehow. I don't know. It can be done. So yeah, that's what I have to do now, apparently. Work one of these jobs that are meaningless to me, but at the same time aren't really that horrible to do, and I have to put up with it, and I have to endure it for a longer time. And of course, I don't want to do any of that. I would prefer to do something else, like I said many times, like some sort of online business or something that I have passive income. But since I don't know how to do that yet, I have to do sort of these jobs. Okay, so I'm going to end this video. It's quite long. So what I want you to get from this video is, be a useful human being, be a resourceful human being. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he put out a book a few years ago, and it's called Be Useful. And I'm sure that book is great. I haven't read it, but the title, be useful, be resourceful human being to the environment, to the people around you, and you're going to what I say. It's easier for people, if you're not an anchor to them. When stress is happening, it's a good thing if there's someone's around who relieves that stress from them. So you be that guy who relieves the stress from people around you, if you can. If you can, but just in whatever way, try not to cause any bad, like not in the world or not in family or wherever. Don't do it. It's not even worth it. It's bullshit. Just be a good guy. Be a good guy, and you're going to make environment around you better for yourself and for other people as well. And more good people make the world a better place. So yeah, that's it about this video. Take a last sip of coffee, and then I eat my sandwiches. I'm not really that hungry that much right now. I might not even eat them. I don't know. So yeah, that's it for this video, and the message here is be useful, my friends. Okay, be useful and be resourceful. That's it. Done. Also, here's my sandwiches. Here's my iced tea. What I want to say is, look. There's no one around, it's just me. And I wish I wouldn't have to be so alone. Alone. A proper company would be really nice. And now, what I want, I want a like-minded company, people who see things the same as I do. So it's not, just anyone for my company. No, it's specific people, like-minded people in real life. That I would have them for company. That'd be really nice because I'm alone. Quite a lot. Although I've been more alone years ago. Now I don't feel that alone anymore. But still, proper company would be really nice. And I wish, right now that I wouldn't have to eat here by myself. I wish I had a proper company with someone to talk to here, like like-minded individual. I would be, in my father's cabinet, eating and talking with my dad. But my father, he's not that like-minded as I am. He's not. We have certain views we share, but there's a lot of them that we don't. So he's not, 100% like-minded. It doesn't work quite for me. I would prefer some other company, like here in the times when I'm alone. So yeah, a proper company of a like-minded individual would be really nice. But that's not just any human, because if I don't, being around people who don't understand you and people who are not like-minded, that's useless. I have no interest pretty much to be around people who don't understand me, who are not like-minded. I don't really have any interest. Why? We don't share anything. Why would I be interested to have someone like that as my friend? That's a friend to me. That's just a guy, someone, but it's not a friend. Like-minded. Like-minded company would be really nice. I don't want to be alone. Yeah, like-minded people. Wednesday today. The next week. I'm tired. This part-time job is going to end tomorrow, and honestly, I've grown sick and tired of it. It annoys me. And talk. There's no one here, so I can talk. Yeah, I've grown tired of this. It annoys me, and I'm tired. It's not that easy for me. I've realized again. I'm not really that much for physical works, doing some heavy lifting all the time. I'm not really for that. It makes me really tired, and I don't like that. Um, it's annoying. Growing up is a scary process. Um, Not all of it, of course. There's good stuff as well. But becoming an adult, doing everything by yourself. Trying to support yourself and having jobs and doing things. And having to go by yourself to the store and having to drive yourself wherever you have to go. It is very challenging. At certain times. Expansion always hurts. When you're expanding out of your comfort zone, always hurts. But it makes you stronger. Um, to me, it's frightening. Actually, it's terror. It's not scary. It's another level beyond. It's terror. When at these certain moments, just like 40 minutes ago or something, I've experienced it. Um, and it's terror. Those that's really not fun to feel. And it's unbearable for me when this happens. Um, and this thing, being an adult or whatever, for me, it's decent amount of times has always been for these past few years. It has been unbearable experiences, unbearable feelings, unbearable thoughts. In times of stress, and I don't want to feel unbearable feelings and thoughts at all. I really don't want to, and I don't think anyone wants to, because as a human, you have your pain limits. There's only so much that you can take, and there, when something crosses the line, you can't take that anymore. You have your limits. Everyone has them. You're not Superman, unfortunately. And I'm sure, there's a lot of us that have met unbearable pains when they went beyond their limits, and you somehow had to put up with them. And it sucks if there's years on unbearable pains. Like with me, I've been putting up with unbearable pains for such a long time, man. And it's not fair. You think I want to put up with unbearable pains, as I said just now? No, I really don't. I wish that it wouldn't come to unbearable feelings to me ever. I get, that if there's stress, or like something, unbearable stress or something for, I don't know, for not that long period of time, let's say, I don't know, a few months or something. That's it. That's somehow, manageable, but not, for 3-5 years or something, having unbearable shit every day. That's not healthy, man. That's not okay for no one. And then we come again, to endurance. When I find myself in these unbearable states, right now it's not that unbearable. It was like 40 minutes ago. When I find myself in those unbearable states, how do I even say this? It touches me to the core, to the core of my being. It touches me, and it makes me feel very, very unpleasant feelings that I wish I would have never experienced. And it's endurance. we come back to endurance, as I said earlier on in the video. We come to endurance again. You see, being a man, or maybe just a human being, comes with endurance as well. You have to put up with stuff. And as a man, apparently there's certain bullshit that you have to put up with, even if it's unbearable stuff. Like in my case, so many unbearable things, that I somehow have to put up with them. Now, do I have to put up with them? No, I don't really have to, because no one's forcing me. You know who's forcing me? Me. I'm forcing me to put up with unbearable things. So you see, again, endurance. And I don't have to force myself to endure unbearable things. I don't have to. I really don't. Because I don't think that there's a must with whatever. So I don't think I have to put up with it. And even it comes also endurance. Human being can survive literally whatever happens to him, because we have the need to survive in our genes. And 3 years ago, in 2022, I lost all my reasons to live, sort of. I lost all the will to live as well, and I literally stayed alive because I forced myself to stay alive when I didn't want to stay alive. And I was still struggling with staying alive and wanting to be alive. Not really a big fan of being alive. So see, and the reason why I'm staying alive, because it's in my genes, not because I would want to. It's in our DNA, in our cells, and that is why we have the need to survive, even if you don't want to. So you see, that's how we are as humans, and there's not much you can do about that. So yeah, endurance, unbearable feelings in whatever way. Not fun if you experience them, and would be good if it wouldn't even exist. If this was erased from existence, that it would be like sort of a rule that no human being should ever experience any unbearable cruelties of life. If you could erase certain unbearable pains from life, that'd be really cool, man. Really cool. So yeah, unbearable pains, not cool if a human being experiences them, and not even worse, if they last for many years. And endurance, for some reason you have to put up with unbearable things if and when they happen to you, and you have to put up with them God knows how long. Not a good combination, because when you're in pain, you want the pain to go away as soon as possible. You don't want to endure the pain. You don't want to have unbearable to be dragging. You want it to go away, but no, maybe it doesn't go away, and it's enduring. You have to put up with it. So yeah, unfair things, weird, unbearable feelings and endurance. Yeah.